Hey everyone, Jay here. Today's video is going to be another Intro to Python lab exercise. This time we'll be using parallel arrays or lists, looking through those and accessing each one of the parallel lists. Now, what are parallel lists? Oftentimes we will have multiple lists whose elements uh, will join together. For example, we'll have, it's best if I just give you an example rather than kind of describe what it is, right? We'll have maybe uh, lists of first names and lists of last names. And so at index 3, the first name and the last name, index 3 on both lists will match. We may have multiple ones, not just first name and last name. We have all kinds of information about a person. We have first name, last name, phone number, email, address, all that stuff. And we can quite easily put those into parallel lists. They're parallel because the indexes match up and align. So if you have index 42 across all of the lists, will all reference the same person that we're using. It doesn't have to be people. In my example here, I'm using named colors and then their RGB values. So it can be anything as long as those lists, along the lists, the numbers for each one matches. These are, they sound a bit complicated at first, but they're actually one of the easiest ways to use multiple lists because you only need one loop and then they'll all be, they'll all access the same index. So let's have a look at this one. That's going to be real easy. Watch this. All right, we have 4 lists: the color name, which is the text name, color red, color green, and color blue, which is the red, green, and blue values of their RGB text code. Okay, if you're familiar with that, needs no explanation. If you're not, this is simply the way digital screens represent colors with a numeric value. They have a red light, a green light, and a blue light. And this is the intensity that you would light each light up to make said color. So the red, the first one, color red would be all the way up to 255, which is the highest value, and green would be 1 and blue would be 1. Actually, this probably should be 0 and 0, not 1 and 1, but I digress. So all red, no green, and no blue, and you'll get red. If you want yellow, you need all red, all green, and no blue. 255, 255, and 1. Because red and green light make yellow. And then so on all these colors here. So let's go ahead and access these, and we're going to output them. And I'll show you what the output looks like. We need one loop. Right, I've chosen again to use a while loop because I want my I value to be the index of my list. All right, that's why we use I. It stands for index, it stands for iterator, it stands for whatever you want it to, whatever I word you want it to do. That's what we always use. I will be the index that I'm going to use within all of these. I have a single print statement. I'm going to print the RGB value for the color blank. Red equals blank, green equals blank, and blue equals blank. And let's scroll over to the end of this. There we go. Here's my scroll bar. Format color name sub I, color red sub I, color green sub I, and color blue sub I. That's it. We're using I as the index value for all of the arrays because they are in parallel. You should be using the same index value to access all of them to get that parallel relationship, right? So super easy, and that's all there is to that. I know this is very simple. I'm just outputting one single line for each of them, but that's really all there is to it. Let's show you the output. right there is just going to output the RGB value for the color red. Red 255, green is 1, blue is 1. Let's go down to green. Red equals 1, green equals 128, and blue equals 1. Now this is not bright green, this is a darker green, maybe a grass type of green. Okay, bright green would of course be green is 255. Like the blue is 255. If you want light blue, you actually have to look for like a teal or something else. Teal, that should actually be cyan. I should change that to cyan. Green is 128 and blue is 128. Green and blue equal will give you that light blue color. Anyhow, that is parallel arrays. Okay. Parallel arrays, a bunch of arrays all using the same index values in parallel to join multiple pieces of data. That is just one method of holding multiple pieces of data. It's by far one of the easiest and simplest and requires the least amount of kind of complex issues to deal with. Right? It is not the most versatile, it is not the best, but it is pretty much always available, right? And it's one of the things we've got to go over. Very useful. That's parallel arrays. I'll see you next time.